The Funk Zone was originally developed as the warehouse, industrial, and manufacturing part of town, and in its early years, it was the storage area for products such as lumber being offloaded from ships at Stearns Wharf. After decades of industrial use, the Funk Zone started to take on an eclectic feel, with artists and craftspeople of all types filling the spaces. Today, its popularity and the speed of development gradually began to create pressures on parking and infrastructure. Due to these pressures, business and property owners asked the city to add additional parking resources in the area. In response to the request, city staff met with stakeholders, held public workshops, and conducted parking surveys to better understand the situation.
We've heard concerns about the lack of public parking. And we've heard concerns about employees versus customers. Where do my customers park? Employees may be taking up more of the customer parking. The distance of the parking facilities from the center of the Funk Zone. We have the depot lot, and then we have the lot over near the waterfront. And now the Californian is also a public lot. But they're not right in the Funk Zone. So we've heard concerns, is it too far, or I don't have signage to get there?
Recently, city staff held a listening workshop to hear what the community liked about the area, as well as concerns and ideas for improvements.
We want to hear from business owners, from property owners, from people who are doing work in the Funk Zone. We want to hear what their interests are. And then from there, we can create some solutions that address those interests. So the listening workshop is a more effective way for us to engage and understand the issues that may be there before we act.
The most exciting part of the Funk Zone for me, and I think it's the thing that attracts both locals and visitors to Santa Barbara, to the neighborhood, is this very distinct entrepreneurial spirit that exists here. We have a lot of small independent businesses that are locally owned and locally created by a wide range of really innovative and exciting entrepreneurs. So I think that originality, kind of coupled with that spirit of entrepreneurism, is a very attractive force that people come down, they want to be a part of it, they want to experience it, they want to see something new.
I like its walkability. I'd like it to be more walkable. I'd like to see improvements in the infrastructure on the sidewalks and crosswalks so it's even more walkable. A lot of the draw of the Funk Zone is not somewhere you're going to stay for 3 hours, but somewhere you're going to go to 6 different places for 30 minutes. And so I really see that as the draw and what's attracting so many people, and probably, you know, when we look back in 20 years will be a characteristic that needs to be applied to other retail corridors in town.
Listening workshops are not new for the city. They prove to be an invaluable tool to gather public input for other planning efforts.
We first did the listening workshop style on the east side for the traffic management program about 10 years ago, and that was very effective then. And then we've since done the listening workshop in the Mission Canyon area to understand the interest there. And so it's been a very successful tool for everyone to get their opinions heard down to the individual, rather than being intimidating and speaking up at a meeting. You can actually be around a table and have a conversation.
Perhaps the biggest challenge in the Funk Zone is how to make improvements while not negatively impacting the obvious success that has taken the area by storm.
It's thriving. It's thriving right now. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of activity, a lot of demand for the use of the area. And one of the things that about 4 years ago, when the city of Santa Barbara was talking about the Funk Zone, it was like, leave the funk in the zone. Don't mess with the funk. And so that is still on the table. People who will be here tonight, we'll ask them specifically concerning parking or concerning access to the Funk Zone. What should be left alone? What shouldn't be touched?
One of the challenges we're going to have is that we're probably on a cusp of changes in social lifestyle, whether it's parking, the use of automobiles, experiential type of uses rather than your traditional retail type of uses. And part of that challenge will be a zoning process or regulations that go back 100 years, and how quickly can we get them to adapt to what's actually on the ground or what people want to do right now.
I think because of the area growing so quickly, not only in the number of businesses coming into the area, but the number of visitors coming to experience it. And that's created opportunity, but also challenges in the flow of people, the movement of people. How do we, bring people into the neighborhood safely, and how do we make sure that the neighborhood's working together as a community and really as an integral part of the rest of the city.
Another item of interest being discussed is how can the Funk Zone and downtown businesses work together to benefit the economic vitality of each other.
Downtown and the Funk Zone are working very well together right now. We are trying to make it so people from downtown come to the Funk Zone, people from the Funk Zone come to downtown. We want to make that a much easier process, and so we feel helping out with the parking and for them to resolve some of their problems they're having down here will benefit both places.
The Funk Zone very much wants to be an integral part of the city. We want to work collaboratively both with the city government as well as the other neighborhoods and other business districts. Any ways that we can be smarter about how we are accommodating both our local population as well as our very large visitor population, we're excited about that.
City staff has evaluated the input from the workshop and conducted a parking study learning how many parking spaces exist, the duration of use, and who is using them. An online survey was sent out and over 100 additional people responded, capturing additional input from those unable to attend the workshop. Staff is now in the process of packaging all the information for review by the Downtown Parking Committee, and based on that review, a menu of options will be presented to the community in an action workshop where the proposed solutions will be vetted, ultimately resulting in a community-driven plan intended to make the Funk Zone experience more accessible for everyone.